Hey, it's Avi from JustWriteMusic.com. Today I want to share with you 3 quotes that helped me to such an extent that I would not be the songwriter or composer that I am today without them. Wow, simple and to the point. That's a first, and it didn't last long. Before we dive in, hit the subscribe button and bell below if you're new to the channel. Like I said, these 3 quotes have helped me so much over the years that they've become part of my process, my philosophy, and, well, I literally wouldn't be here doing this without them. My teacher shared these with me, and I'm passing them on to you in the hopes that you're going to get something out of them too. So the first thing I want to talk about, I've discussed this before in a video a long time ago. Everything is an object. Another way of putting this is you can make anything out of anything. Such clarity. This may sound super weird or alien kind of to you, or it might sound super obvious. For me, it was definitely the former. I'd never really heard anything like this before. Basically, you can turn any component of your music into an object. Now, what is an object? An object is anything of note that's happening in the music. Is there a repeated theme? That's an object. Cadences? Objects. Ostinatos? Objects. Articulations, dynamics, and instrument ranges, harmonic progression, substitutions, and prolongations? All objects. So, like, everything, then. Like the thing. This is powerful because sometimes, or oftentimes, if you're me, you're not always aware of the objects that you're actually using in your music. By going back and taking a little bit of a deeper look on what we're already doing, fresh eyes and all that, we can come away with better ideas on how to use what we're already using rather than trying to come up with something brand new. This has saved my skin literally tons of times. Usually in the form of giving me an idea for a new section or how to vary material I've already varied quite a bit. So literally everything is an object. You can make something out of anything. If you're doing something and it's not really necessarily an important thing, you can make it an important thing. You can foreshadow it. It's really, really cool. There's like subtext and narrative lines that we're creating in our music that are even unconscious to us as we're doing it. It's so super awesome. Find them, use them. They are there for you to use. The next thing I want to talk about is a little bit more nebulous, if that's even possible. This one is much more of a recent thing for me, and that is that we learn the rules to unlearn the rules. You, like me, may have heard this in a slightly different way. You learn the rules in order to break the rules, or know how to break the rules. But is that really the best perspective? Clearly, I don't think so. And the reason is that these rules never really existed, at least not in the way that we're taught that they existed. When you go get a music degree, you go and take theory classes, and you essentially learn 18th century Western European music. Like, specifically that. The rules we think of, like cadences, no parallel octaves, voice leading, counterpoint, all that stuff. This is all derived from what we learn in theory class. Theory class. It's a class which requires a grade. So it kind of gets ingrained in our heads that these are unbreakable rules because, well, we couldn't break them if we wanted to get an A in the class. Gotta get that GPA up. Am I right? Honestly, even composition classes where you're like supposed to express yourself and delve into yourself as an artist and create and compose and stuff, even these classes can be guilty of this, especially if the teacher just isn't a very strong composer. Thankfully, I had fantastic composition teachers. I'm actually not calling anyone out here. Any composer or songwriter worth their salt will tell you to use anything that you think sounds good. And that's the idea. As you learn more about music history, the major composers that are talked about tend to be ones that have broken or reinvented conventions in some way. This, at first glance, supports the learn the rules to break the rules motto. But if you dig deeper, we can never fully break the rules. I mean, not unless we're like really diving into a completely different style of music outside of Western tonal theory and harmony and everything. We can't really break the rules. We've internalized them. And that's what music school is there to help us with. This is a good thing, I promise. In school, we learn to cater our compositions and our, any music that we write to the expectations of our teachers, as well as the stuff that we're learning and we're experimenting with. So we're doing stuff that's pretty run-of-the-mill, usually. So it's not that we're breaking any rules per se, it's that we're unlearning the totalitarian grip that 18th century Western European harmony has on us. But it's not necessarily going to go away, it's still part of us, it's part of our training. Even if we're writing totally different types of music. Even if you're writing pop or writing hip hop or something like that, this stuff seeps in. It's part of our musical culture. It's still part of the mainstream ear. All right, so that's learn the rules to unlearn the rules. Definitely not to break the rules. I think that's a really weird and nebulous difference, but a distinction that I think is worth it and has helped me a ton. It really just helped me chill out and let the music be what it wants to be. As well as this third one, this third and last quote that has maybe the most important one to date for me. So much so that you actually already know it. Just write music. Hey, it's the thing. It's the thing of the name. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, this is a big deal for me. This quote comes from a story that my teacher once told me. He was a young composer and he was in correspondence with a fellow composer, colleague, friend of his. My teacher would write to his colleague about not knowing his place in music and live up to the tradition that we take on as composers and writers. Now, my teacher's friend, of course, was very understanding. But as time went on and these letters continued, the responses started to get a little bit more blunt. According to my teacher, one response was something like, "It's just notes on a page. Just go write some fucking music." Now, this might not be a particular struggle for you, and whatever your reason, you may not have anxiety about actually getting to the process of writing and actually sitting down and doing it. But I did, and for me, this was humbling. I needed this. I always took my music too seriously, like to a fault, even to the point where I was experiencing anxiety about writing, just like my teacher was. It helped me detach from any expectations that I had for the music, and that helped me relieve the anxiety I was feeling, helped me manage that, and allowed me to sort of let the music be what it wanted to be. It's this phrase that helped me start to view myself a little bit differently as a writer. I view myself more as a medium rather than a creator, right? The music, it flows through me. I'm just the medium for it. I'm not creating it totally on my own. That's way more heartening for me and way more encouraging for me because it's just so much less pressure. It's not a straightforward path, and some days it bears repeating. And my teacher is always up for doing just that. It's just notes on a page. Go write some damn music. So those are the 3 quotes that help make me a better songwriter and composer. Did any of them stand out to you? Let me know down in the comments. If you need help diving into the deep end and getting yourself started writing music, check out my 3-step song starter that will have you writing in minutes. Head to justwritemusic.com/songstarter. There's a link down in the doobly-doo. Thanks so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for YouTube things. And yeah, that's all. I'm Avi from justwritemusic.com, and don't forget to be awesome.